Gluten is everywhere. In your bread, your pasta, your snacks. But ever wondered why millions of people are suddenly avoiding it? No, it's not just a health trend. There's something deeper behind the gluten-free labels lining grocery aisles. Gluten is a protein, not a chemical nor an additive, but a natural part of wheat, barley, and rye. It gives dough its elasticity and helps bread rise and stay chewy. But for some people, eating gluten sets off a chain reaction inside their body that leaves them bloated, fatigued, and sometimes seriously ill. Let's explore what gluten does in your system and why it's become one of the most debated parts of the modern diet. What happens when you eat gluten? So, once you eat something with gluten, digestion begins in the stomach and continues in the small intestine. Most people process it without issue, but in some, gluten is flagged as an invader by the immune system. The body reacts by launching an attack. In people with celiac disease, this immune response goes too far. It damages the tiny, hair-like villi lining the small intestine, which is the same structures that absorb nutrients from your food. When the villi are flattened or destroyed, your body can't properly absorb iron, calcium, folate, or even protein. This leads to a range of symptoms like weight loss, anemia, diarrhea, and extreme fatigue. And the cause is often just a slice of regular bread. Gluten sensitivity versus celiac disease. Remember that you don't need to have celiac disease to react poorly to gluten. There's also something called non-celiac gluten sensitivity. This condition doesn't cause permanent damage to the intestines, but it can still make life miserable. People with gluten sensitivity report bloating, gas, headaches, joint pain, brain fog, and mood swings after eating gluten. What's strange is that medical tests often come back normal. No antibodies, no gut damage. Yet the symptoms improve when gluten is removed from the diet and return when it's added back. It's real, even if we don't fully understand the mechanism yet. Gluten and inflammation. For some people, gluten seems to stir up inflammation in the body. This can show up in the gut, the joints, or even the skin. Chronic inflammation is linked to dozens of modern illnesses, from autoimmune disease to depression. Gluten may not be the root cause for everyone, but for sensitive ones, it acts as a trigger. This is especially true for people with autoimmune disorders. In fact, celiac disease itself is autoimmune. And other conditions like type 1 diabetes or Hashimoto's thyroiditis are often seen alongside gluten intolerance. Removing gluten can sometimes reduce flare-ups and help people feel more balanced, mentally and physically. The gut-brain connection. Your gut and your brain talk constantly. It's why nervousness can cause nausea, and why a gut imbalance can lead to anxiety or foggy thinking. When gluten disrupts gut function, even subtly, it can affect mood, focus, and energy. That's because the gut is home to over 70% of your immune cells and produces most of your serotonin. If gluten triggers inflammation or alters gut bacteria, it could influence how your brain works. Some people with gluten sensitivity report clearer thinking, fewer headaches, and improved mood after going gluten-free. It's not just about digestion, it's about how your whole system works together. Is wheat itself the problem? Here's where it gets complicated. Gluten might not be acting alone. Modern wheat has changed dramatically in the last few decades through hybridization and industrial farming. Wheat today has more gluten and different protein structures than traditional varieties. Some researchers believe that these changes make it harder to digest. Others point to the heavy use of pesticides and additives in processed foods. So when people say they feel better without gluten, it could be because they're also cutting out chemicals, preservatives, and refined carbs, not just the gluten. Food quality matters. Gluten-free doesn't always mean healthier. There's a myth that gluten-free automatically means better, but that's not always true. Gluten-free cookies can be just as processed, sugary, and unhealthy as regular ones. Many gluten-free products lack fiber, vitamins, and essential nutrients. Plus, they often rely on rice flour, potato starch, or corn, which spike blood sugar quickly. The goal should never be to just replace junk food with gluten-free junk food. Instead, the focus should be on whole and unprocessed foods. Vegetables, fruits, clean proteins, nuts, seeds, and naturally gluten-free grains like quinoa and millet can help your body thrive with or without gluten. Should everyone avoid gluten? But not everyone needs to avoid gluten. If you have no symptoms and no diagnosis and you eat a balanced diet, there's no proven benefit to avoiding gluten. Like whole wheat and barley, also contain fiber, B vitamins, and antioxidants. Cutting them out unnecessarily can lead to nutrient gaps. But if you often feel tired after meals, have frequent digestive discomfort, or unexplained skin or joint issues, gluten might be worth looking into. Start by observing your body. Track your symptoms. Then speak to a professional before making any drastic dietary changes. How to test gluten tolerance. If you want to test your gluten intolerance, get yourself screened for celiac disease. This involves a blood test to check for specific antibodies. If results are positive, a biopsy of the small intestine confirms the diagnosis. For non-celiac sensitivity, there's no official test. The gold standard is an elimination diet. You remove gluten completely for at least 3 weeks. Then you reintroduce it and monitor how you feel. But don't try this casually. If you remove gluten before testing, it can make test results unreliable. And always work with a qualified practitioner to get clear answers and avoid confusion. No final word, just more to explore. We still don't know everything about gluten. Science is evolving. What we do know is that food affects every part of the human body, including digestion, energy, emotion, and even immunity. And gluten for some people is not just food, it's a trigger. The story of gluten isn't just about what's in bread, it's about what your body says in response. So next time you bite into a sandwich, ask yourself, is your body comfortable or quietly protesting?